This is Diego Cord here, and the Ramblings of a Board Guy, and today I'm going to talk about my Prelude build. So, this is different. This is a different type of video. There's going to be screen capture. I'll be going through these pictures while I'm talking about everything. This was the first card that I did a full build on from nothing, actually less than stock. And you know, see, here's the thing. There's some people that feel like cars cannot be done, ever. I've heard that sentiment on numerous occasions online and in person. And I don't believe that's the case. I believe that you might have a place that you want to be with a car. And if you get there, to me, it's done. I've had cars that were done. Actually, we'll start with some other cars that I've had. So, let's see, no, these are models. My old cars. I'm not going to really talk about these cars like in depth, but here's some cars I had. So this car right here, first car that I did an engine swap in. This was an EJ1. I had this in 2004. It was lowered. You know, I got it bone stock from a dealership. You know, I mean, in 2004, this was not that old. It was a mint dealership car. By this picture, you know, I stupidly traded off that front bumper. I had a, you know, clean, perfectly fine OEM front bumper, but I traded this one because he had that. He had taken out the grills and he put this homemade lip on there, and that was stupid as fuck. But anyway, so where I was at with this car, all the stuff I did to the Prelude, I actually wanted to do way back when I had this car. So my screen name back on the local forum was Black EJ1 because this was a Black EJ1. And I actually renamed myself RHD Gold EJ1 because I had that as a goal. As a goal to do to maybe possibly this car if I could have. But at the time, that was not going to be the case. So anyway, where this car was at, you know, got it bone stock with a Z6 and all that shit. You know, put suspension on it, did these Del Sol Skinny 5s, did a B16 swap, and I did the EG6 white face cluster. So if I had done some aftermarket wheels and an exhaust, because I never did an exhaust in that car, I would have been like, no, this is perfectly fine. I'm like, it's done. Like, could I always say, oh yeah, some Recaros or some kind of Volks or some better wheels or some shit. I could, but to me, that car as it was with, you know, if I had kept my original bumper and I figured out what kind of lip I wanted, and I put an actual like canister exhaust on there and some wheels, and I'm like, it's done, good enough. This CRX. So as you can see in these pictures, this EJ1, they got wrecked. It got totaled, and actually traded the B16 swap out of it for this whole CRX. Here. And this car, I mean, it was done. Like, what else would you want to do to that? It had a xenon body kit. Body was clean. It had a dual cam ZC swap, suspension, exhaust, bolt-ons. You know, it actually had the ZC trans, which most people did not use because the D16 and D15 trans bolted to it, so they took that route. What else would you want to have to do to this car other than like some big wheels? See, these wheels were 14-inch wheels. They were not like slips. They were some kind of slip-looking wheels, but not actually slips, which themselves are copies of SW388s. So some better wheels. This car, fucking done. Like, what else would I want to do to that? Oh, I can use some more power. No, I don't care. Not done, not done. So this Integra had a lot of stuff in it right here. These wheels were Volks, AV3s, and had a H22 nitrous LSD swap. And a lot of stuff. Type R cluster, all the extra stuff you'd need, and you see that janky shifter. Now, mechanically, you could say this car was done. I mean, it was fast and all that good stuff. But, you know, it didn't look... I fucking hated the paint job. This car was built in the late 90s or something like that, or very early 2000s, well before I got it. And, you know, I mean, if I would have painted it, you know, like a single color or something and put some different wheels on there, some 16s, yeah, maybe I'd have been like, okay, it's good, but mechanically that swap was janky as fuck. So if I would have painted that car, I'd have been like, all right, it's done. It's fast and it's got all these good parts on it. So a single color probably would have been good. There's some stuff in the Prelude here. I don't know how that happened, but we did get some stuff there. Miata. Yeah, I had a Miata. Everybody had a Miata. Miata's always the answer. So anyway, you see it here. I did the wheels. I did that front lip. Looks wise, if I had ever lowered it, I would have been like, it's done. Like, what else would I really need? Because, all that bullshit that people do to these things. Bolt-on fender flares and a big wang and all that shit. It's good now. It's really good as it is. With lowering. This S2000. So the Prelude, actually traded the Prelude for this S2000 here. And as you can see, it's stock AP1 front bumper, and I swapped it to an AP2 front bumper with a lip. And that's perfect. That still might be my favorite car that I've owned ever. But as you can see, to me, it's perfect. Single exit N1 exhaust. The wheels, even though these were played out, the wheels, they match the car perfectly. The color, as well as the fact that it did not have the amber corners or the amber side markers, went perfectly with those wheels. Just fucking perfect. Like, what else would you do to that car? It also had all the full bolt-ons, so it was ear-bleedingly loud. No cat, nothing. Great. So I would say that's done. This right here, I did a couple more trades. No, I think I traded the S2000 for this. And where I said, what else would I want to do to this car? Now, obviously, I had the Evo as well at this time. And when you compare the two, the Evo, I'm keeping that. It's the same thing as having both of these. When you have cars that are too similar, two Japanese convertible two-seaters on Inkei wheels. One of them's obviously better than the other one, so one of them's got to go for redundance. So anyway, that's what happened to this guy. I did enjoy this fucking car. I enjoyed it more than the Evo when the Evo was stock. So that says a lot. So anyway, there wasn't anything I would have done to this car. So I would consider it a perfect car. Let's see. This right here, this TSX. I don't do the stance, but I did some trading around and ended up getting this car. You look at it, what else would I have done to this car? I wouldn't have done anything else to it. So I would say that, it's done. So to me, yes, cars can be done. And they don't have to be full-on race car or anything like that in order to actually be done. And I could say the same thing for this Civic here. I ended up getting this bone stock, and the guy was trying to, the front end actually was not painted at all, and the guy was trying to plasti dip it. I traded the Miata for it, so I took my wheels off the Miata, put it on here. And it was bone stock when I got it. I did some work to it. I did this headliner, put Integra seats in it. The shifter was an Accord shift boot and knob, because I like the little ring that it has. This steering wheel was a 7th gen Accord coupe steering wheel. And you see I had to paint the front end. Boom, that was me. All me. Driveway paint job, good clear, good paint mix and everything. The Type R mirrors, lip. So I got that done. To me, that was a perfect car. It also ended up getting a swap, B20Z2. So the only thing I didn't do was lower it. I had suspension ready to go for it. Never got it installed. But to me, with the suspension installed, it would have been done. So, that's kind of a history. To me, cars can be done. It is definitely possible for cars to be done, even if they don't have 1,000,000 horsepower. And that's where the Prelude is. I mean, you see the end result of the Prelude, but I have a whole album just for the Prelude. So anyway, to get started on this car. So I had this car between 2009, I believe is when I got it, and 2015 is when I traded it for the S2000. You know, that offer. You know, I'm like, S2000. I mean, what are you gonna do? Even though getting the Preludes for that S2000, considering what's done to this versus what was done to that, you know, he probably got a good deal. So anyway, let me find the beginning. So I got this car as a stock shell with some body damage. You can see, if you can see the cursor, there's a little body damage right here on the side, and this was a stock shell with some lowering springs on it, and that was it. Left-hand drive, as you can see. So I had this EHE hatch that I got from my dude. That was my daily at the time. And yeah, some more pictures here, just as it was, stock, shell, left-hand drive. And then I bought a head and a trans. So I just needed something, because at this time, you know, I really didn't have like good money. I had just stopped working at GameStop, and I had to leave that place because there was not enough money in it. But you know, I mean, I enjoyed that job, and I knew I would not enjoy working anytime after that, just like I hardly enjoyed working before that. So, you know, I kept that job longer than I should have, and it just fucking kind of wrecked finances. So anyway, I ended up getting a this H22 head. So you see the head here that has the polished valve cover, and then this tranny. This was an Accord tranny, and that was the original plan. I got this head and this trans, and I did not care what block I used. Did not care if it was a F23 block, F22, H23, H22. Did not care. All that mattered to me at the time was getting, you know, the car done and having a complete dual cam VTEC car. This car, you know, I had this after the Integra. So I had an Integra, and then I got I traded it for a Civic that was bone stock, and because I was tired of all the like gremlins that Integra had, and then, you know, like shit just happened. I didn't have anything. I ended up buying that hatch from my dude for a couple $100. And then, you know, I ended up just getting a slightly better job, and that's when I ended up buying this Prelude shell, and then I was able to start trying to do some stuff. So as you can see, there's another motor in the background. I ended up finding that while I was searching for a block. Ended up finding this whole H22, and took you know, so for some reason it did not occur to me to like pull the head or pull the valve cover or anything like that. So I actually did, and the timing belt looked like dog hair. So that was great. That was why this was a good deal. But it was a full drop trans and motor for pretty cheap. So I take it to my dude to get it put in, take it to a shop, and you know, I tell him, hey, I also dropped this head off. I'm like, timing belt does not look good. That head could be fucked. So I got an extra head if, you know, if that's the case. But he put it together. I guess he checked it, put it together. It ran perfectly fine with the original head. So that was a good deal. So at that point, we had it running, you know, stock H22 A4 running car. So I think some pictures are up here higher. So I put that valve cover on there, of course, but this was how it was with the H22. And then I put these rotor slips on it. So these were 16-inch 5x114 slips, polished lip, and I was like pretty happy. Of course, I need to do something about that bumper fitment, but I was pretty happy at this point. And then, let me see, this was still that. I bought that Mazda in the background. That was my daily beater. I ended up selling that EG hatch, and I bought that Mazda. So when I had that, because the Prelude was the daily for a second. And then when I got the Mazda, I decided, you know what? I think the right-hand drive is in order, because I wanted to do right-hand drive for a long ass time. Like I said, before I had the EJ1, I think right-hand drive to me came about with the MTV I'm a True Life, I'm a Street Racer. When that Greg dude had the right-hand drive Integra and the CRX, that's when I wanted that. But overall, my taste ended up still being a little different, because I didn't want it in a fucking Civic or an Integra like anybody else. I did want it, even if I did a Civic, which I did want a Civic SI, like, EM1 99 2000. That is a car that I wanted, and I would love to do right-hand drive to that. But, everybody else's hatches, it's all about the hatch. But I wanted a coupe if I was going to do it at all, and a coupe that had all the power options. So, EX, SI, whatever. So the Prelude, I had that car at the time, and, fuck, it's a coupe. I love the way they look. It's got all the power options. I guess this is going to be my Huckleberry. So that's when I decided to go ahead and send that out. Or I called for the right-hand drive clip. So let me see where that's at, because these pictures are not in order like they should be. I thought there was a picture of the clip that was wrapped up. So yeah, here we go. I called H Motors. All right, so the shop that initially was going to do this build was Total Performance Racing, and that's in Ohio, Fairfield. Now, they did the first things that I ever did with the EJ1. When I did suspension on that, that's where I got that done. Trends blew up in that car, and I also had them replace that, and the clutch, and those amber corners that I had on that car at the time also came from there. Now, I've had some bad and some good. When I had an EJ1, everything seemed like it was bad that happened with that company. So those amber corners that I ordered, I wanted the Vision style that are actually on this EG in this picture. So, I wanted those, and they ended up getting me these APC clear ambers. And I ended up hearing from a guy that, he just told him to go down the street to Advance Auto and just fucking pick those up, and those were supposedly mine, which, some bullshit. And then I heard the clutch that was used with it was supposed to be a brand new clutch, ACT clutch, that he used when doing my clutch and tranny on the original Z6. He said that, he didn't even use a new clutch, which is also not great. The lowering stuff, that worked out. That was perfectly fine. And then there were times after I had the EJ1, like that CRX that I showed you, it just stopped running one day, and I didn't know what the hell was going on with it. I actually towed it there because it was pretty close to where I was at, and he got it running. What was that thing? A relay, a Honda thing, a relay. He got it running, and he just told me was like, hey, just buy me lunch. And I actually bought my launch PS3 from him. I guess he bought one at launch, trying to do the whole scalping thing, but eBay shut it down. So he ended up selling me original 60 gig. This was still near the launch window. He sold me that for $400. So that was an amazing fucking deal. But anyway, so since I know that place was the Honda place, I'm like, I guess I'll have them do my right-hand drive. So I talked to him initially. I'm like, all right, let me call H Motors, and I'll get that shipped. I get the right-hand drive clip shipped because I actually didn't expect for a right-hand drive clip for a Prelude to be out there, but he was the first one I called for obvious reasons, and he had it. So this was that. He sent pictures of it, and see, here's the thing. This picture here that has this OEMH badge, and there was some other stuff that ended up going in there, I think. I told him to put that in there and send me this picture of it before it got sent out. And this was kind of a test just to see if some shady stuff would happen with that. And I didn't tell TPR that I had that in there. So I ship I have it shipped over there, and then I come to inspect the clip, and that is not there. So then after looking around, I'm like, hey man, there was some things in the glove box of this clip, man. Where's that shit at? And then all of a sudden they get pulled from under the counter. Oh, these. I'm like, oh, so you weren't gonna tell me. So with the stuff from before, I'm like, I'm just gonna take this somewhere else. We had one other shot to try. So he did some asshole shit, which whatever. He dropped the clip out because it was like fucking January around that time or whatever. So he dumped a clip outside of his shop while I waited on the tow to come take it to this other shop, which was Zero Lift Auto Lab. Does not exist anymore. Well, it kind of does exist. It's called High Lift, and they just deal with Jeeps now. But this was a picture. You see the car in the corner. But anyway, the starting of this was delayed because they were moving, and that picture was from them, I guess, putting cars in a new place. So, anyway, we agreed to do that. I had the clip taken there, and then they got on it. It took a long ass time for them to do this right-hand drive swap, though. It took like a fucking year, which was ridiculous. So here's the stuff on that, I think. So the clip was the same color as the car. This is when they finally got started on stuff. And obviously, you come through and just keep looking and popping up, pop your head through. And that was the first time I saw it looking like it was right-hand drive. So that, I'm like, oh man, yes. But, it was still slow. So this is after a long time. And an actual ACT clutch. So with this, with the swap. So this, I also did F20B. Like I said, this car, I did everything that I ever wanted to do in total. Didn't do it all at once, which I would have liked to do, but anything that I could do at any given time, I try to do. So this ACT, like, always love a aggressive clutch and a light flywheel. So I did an 8-pound Fidanza with that clutch with the F20B swap. So they pretty much swapped out the H22 and gave me the F20B for free, since the value of both motors was the same, and it didn't cost me anything extra because removal of motor and installation of motor was included in right-hand drive. So this was the F20B going in there, and I told them to put my valve cover give me the valve cover back, because I'm gonna put it on there at some point. So anyway, the other things about the swap was all the power options had to work correctly, which they made that happen. You see this black door. This was a JDM door that had all the wiring that was necessary for the doors to work correctly, or the windows and the power folding mirrors and everything. They got the automatic AC controls working and AC itself working. That was one of the things that had to happen. I was not going to have a car without AC. That's just ricer shit, in my opinion. As you see, F20B. And then this is when it was starting to look like a complete car. I had them get me a new bumper. Or did I do the... I did like some 12,000 K headlights and shit, had this steering wheel. That was that valve cover off the H22. I told them that I was keeping that. Sparco wheel, Sparco Monza wheel. Did the fog lights, had them install that with these, like I said, 12,000 Ks, I think. I always wanted those fucking things. It is what it is. But anyway, yeah, they said that right-hand drive conversion was a lot of fucking work, which it is what it is. But, you know, I ended up getting back. It was a year later. And it was also, you know, chipped, had to do an OBD1 conversion, which allowed me to use a red key. Because normally, if you actually still had a red key and you tried to use it, you would fuck your car. At least, you know, with these Preludes. And another thing that I had them get me was that roof bonnet. Or hood bonnet is what it's called. Even though hood bonnet means hood. That's what it's called. It's a spoiler. It's a spoiler that actually goes like right above or like right where the windshield's at. You never see it. Like Wings West made a ricer copy of it, but it doesn't look nearly as good. So I was able to get an OEM one, and I had them put it on there. So that's when the interior was finally done. Looked like a whole ass car. Yes. Then that was the H22 that was taken out. Some other swap picks. Yes. But like I said, it just took way too long in general. But, you know, it was done. Everything worked. And then, you know, at that point, the car was pretty ugly. It had the, let's see. I think we got to go back down to see what it looked like after I got it back. So this is what it looked like sitting there. Obviously this date and stuff is not correct. It might have actually been around there. I don't know. But it was not 1:04 a.m. So like I said, that damage was already there when I got the car as a shell. But, you know, I had to get it fixed at this point. So I just wanted the car to be clean. I would have wanted to paint it gold and do some better stuff to it, but I just wanted it to be clean. And that was a real JDM tag that I had. And that shit was like 30 bucks. I think now those are like 150 bucks for one. Fucking kind of stupid. So, you know, here it is. Finally done. And this is actually when I dropped it off for the right-hand drive. And then this is before I had it, actually. So it was on road to slips before I had it. So I got the car painted, and at this point, so I got the bodywork fixed, got it painted, installed that hood bonnet, and I put some Go Zegan FN01RCs. Those are the same wheels I got on the Evo right now. Not the same set, because these were 17s. And the ones on the Evos are Evo stock sizing. So at this point, it was like a clean, pretty fucking clean car. Got the body work 100% good. Nice clean right-hand drive on some real wheels. Like it said, it was, it's kind of at that point like, what more would you want? Now those wheels look bad in these pictures, but they looked pretty good. But it would, let's see, like they look good in this picture. But that was, it was like, good, clean car. But obviously I was not quite done. Somebody left this note one day. Awesome stuff. And so, as you can see, in these pictures where it's gold, obviously that is not where the car ended up. So, but it was good at this point. And I think this is better pictures of right when the bodywork was done to make it clean again, or make it clean in the first place. So, good stuff. It's the same place. It's actually the same place where the EJ1 got swapped and with the CRX and all that shit. So, yeah. All right, so this actually, I polished these wheels up in this picture. I should have kept them like this, honestly. Definitely should have kept them like this. But, whatever. But anyway, I moved. So, I ended up moving, and then I got an even better job, and I decided, oh, it's time to finish every single fucking thing I ever wanted to do to this car. Oh, it's getting done. So, as you can see in some of these pictures, the custom badge, you got some, actually some coilovers. I got this Mugen, this was a Wings West wing, but it was a Mugen Wings West wing. Volks CE28s, real ones, new tires. Did this Type S cluster with the NSX Type R look to it. Recaros. These were Evo 8 Recaros. They were actually blue in the middle, and I fucking dyed them so they would not be blue. And I dyed the logo. And then every single little body thing taken care of. Went back into the shop, got everything done, suspension swapped out, everything installed, fresh coat of paint. This paint was, the color I wanted back then. It was Sunburst Gold Metallic from the Ford Mustang 2000 only color. I did swapped the front lip for a different one. And, and then I also got my bike painted that color. So, because this is what it was like right before I took it there. I installed that lip, but you see I got some little body damage right in the front again and stuff. So, there she is. Getting all that stuff taken care of with the full color change. Yeah. Full. Everything I ever wanted to do to this car got done to it. And that was, he painted that with the paint off the, that was left over from the Prelude. Get the, put that valve cover back on there. Of course. The Volks ready to go. Brand new tires, 235 4017, like perfect fitment, no ricer fitment. Look at that car. And then, I never installed the, yeah, look at this. Never installed that Sparko wheel until now. So, the Volks, the paint, everything, the wing, the lip. And that was after, I think this was like after Import Alliance. The only thing that was not there was the H badges for the front, but I had that later. And this steering wheel was the same steering wheel that I later put in that EK that I had. But I swapped, when I had this Prelude, I would swap the Sparko for this one. And then there's the bike. Prelude, looking good. Perfect fitment, no ricer shit. Yeah. Look at that. And the guy does still have that. I'm actually, there we go. Clusters, Sparko. I still had the Miata at this time, of course, as you can see. And the finishing touch. Yep. Yeah. Oh man, these are some good memories. But I ended up getting that S2000 like way soon after having that, or after getting this. And this was an OEM, that was the badge that was in the clip when I first had it done. That was the red VTEC logo, and that's SIRT. That's actually an OEM from an Accord, the Accord that comes with the F20B. And I mean, there she is. Everything that I would ever have wanted to do in a front-wheel drive Honda build. And this was actually taken the day that I traded it out for the S2K. Now, a guy does have this. It's crazy. So this was like the first photo, and then this was the last photo. Beginning, the end. So yeah, I mean, damn. And to me, that is a done car. Like, I did not want to do anything else. I literally wanted this car to be this exact thing when I first got it. When it was this, I wanted it to be this. I wanted a gold right-hand drive Honda with a dual cam VTEC. I always wanted the polished valve cover on Volks, Recaros, like Volks and Recaros, like it had to be Volks and Recaros. Couldn't be Works, couldn't be anything else. Had to be fucking Volks. Recaros had to be Recaros. Couldn't be a Sparco seats, even though, you know, steering wheel was a Sparco. But, you know, that's, I want one of those steering wheels for the fucking Evo and the Mustang. But yeah, I mean, that was a hell of a journey. This is like 2009, and this is 2015. So yeah, that was crazy. Now, I do have a buddy who has that car now. So this car, after I had it, it got traded off. It got traded around, you know, the lower states, like, you know, Tennessee and shit like that. And, you know, it would pop up for sale. Somebody would tag me because, you know, obviously there wasn't many right-hand drive Prelude. So somebody would tag me. And, you know, the car would just look worse and worse. Stuff would be gone off of her. Ended up getting, like, new body work. Body damage, I meant. And so, you know, it just was not a good deal. And then a guy finally ended up getting it that could really take it where it needed to be. So I am gonna look for him. Search. Alright, so this guy here, he finally ended up buying the Prelude. And you see it's on the top of his deal right there. I don't know if, what photos he has of it. But, I mean, it has a lot of work in it. So he got it. It was still, I think it was still gold initially. And, you know, let me see, I'm probably just going to start up here where I saw it initially. So it was gold. And, you know, it obviously, you know, somebody tagged me in it. I think the first time that he had pictures done of it. And, you know, people that knew me assumed that it was mine. Probably because of the hood bonnet. Like, nobody did the fucking hood bonnet. So I guess this was like his first thing. I mean, he removed, you know, I mean, some of the stuff was already gone off the car as I had it. Excuse me. But it looks like, you know, he went away from the Recaros. I don't remember if the Recaros were still there by the time he had it. But, you know, less of a sports looking kind of deal compared to what I had. But, you know, I mean, you could see the beginnings of some things that he was doing with it. So, I mean, obviously it's full paint. It was like full chameleon paint. I think the engine bay was still was still gold at this time, from what I remember. And then you see, you know, some differences. You see some differences here. You know, red interior. I actually had a set of that, but I never installed it when I had the car. So I think in this picture, he still has that cluster I have. I know I've seen him in later pictures where he does not have that cluster in it anymore. But he's done a lot to this car. So you can actually still see the gold in this picture here in the interior. And Yeah, so you can see some stuff. So actually, I've never paid attention to this picture. So you see, it still had Recaros at this point, and that wooden steering wheel. That's one of the things I saw before he had it. That somebody got rid of that Sparko and put this fucking hipster-looking steering wheel in there. But yeah, it still had the Recaros at this time. Interesting. So yeah, and he bagged it. It's on bags now. See that he went with a different lip, and he put a rear lip on there. I had no rear lip, had a stock, and that wing is not the same as what I had in there. Let me see, some different wheels, some more changes. And I think he swapped the motor at this point. I know he swapped it. I think it's an H23A. And that engine bay is clean enough to like eat off of right now. Like, he's probably got at least the same amount of money in it, if not more. I mean, you see it's got a big Willwood brake kit in there. I mean, it's a completely different car. Now, I'll say, in my opinion, the only thing I don't really agree with is shaving the door handles. Because I personally just don't like. I mean, like, some show car stuff is fine, but like anything that changes a body line, I mean, a body kit, depending on what the car is and all that good stuff, is like, okay. But like stuff like shaving things is just something I just don't like shaving. Like, even when people used to do license plates, they'd like remove the license plate or put it somewhere else. Just wasn't my thing. So anyway, he painted it back to the original color, or very close to it. He said it was the original color, but with a tint, and you can see like a kind of purple to it. So he went back to the factory color pretty much, with some more show. A lot of changes, a lot of money in that thing now. And there's literally, aside from the fact that he keeps the hood bonnet, like there's nothing left of anything I did to the car, other than the fact that it's right-hand drive, because it doesn't even have an F20B in it anymore. So just the fact that it's right-hand drive, and I changed this the grill to the 99 2000 or 9901 grill. But he probably would have done that anyway, from the 97 grill that just has like one line going through it. So the only thing that's really the same at all is the fact that it still has the hood bonnet and the fact that it's right-hand drive. Like, I think he went back to a stock cluster. As you see in this picture, it's supercharged. So that was like one of the latest updates that I remember seeing. So he, hey, that is awesome to see that car go through all the stages that it did, and for it to be as good as it is, right now. So, it's that's definitely good to see, especially with what I was seeing when people would trade it, and then somebody, like I said, they would tag me in it, and it was just like, oh my god, this is fucking horrible. So anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. You saw the whole thing, the Prelude, from the beginning to the end, and to where it's at now, which is, hey, another place. So, that was the first thing. But now, I have these two cars right here. You see the top here, the Mustang, which you've seen clips on that, and then the Evo, which there's a couple clips on there as well. So, those are what I'm focusing on now. So I'll be doing some videos. I don't know of what yet, but hey, they'll come when I get some ideas. Well, that'll do it. Bye for now.